Easy English conversations.
Simple English. Real conversations.
Hey English learners, welcome back to the Easy English Conversations channel, your English podcast for real conversation practice and easy English in daily life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Thanks for being here with us.
I'm sitting here with my coffee. It's still kind of early, and I had one of those moments this morning where you're half awake, staring out the window, and your brain just starts replaying random conversations from your life.
Oh no. The greatest hits reel?
Exactly. And for some reason, the one that popped up was this memory of being asked a really simple question and completely freezing.
Let me guess. So, tell me about yourself.
That's the one. 3 seconds of silence that felt like 3 years.
I think that question has ruined more perfectly good mornings than we realize.
And what's wild is, it's such a normal question. It's everywhere. First days, new jobs, meeting friends of friends, even casual situations where there's no pressure at all.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. It sounds friendly, but your brain treats it like a pop quiz.
Exactly. And that gap between how simple the question sounds and how hard it feels, that's what I've been thinking about a lot.
Same. Because it's not really about the words. It's about what's happening inside when you're suddenly the topic.
Right. You're no longer reacting. You're creating. On the spot.
And for a lot of people, especially language learners, that's where everything locks up.
So, let's start there. Why does this matter so much? Why does being able to talk about yourself feel like such a big deal?
I think because it's one of the first doors into connection. Before opinions, before deep conversations, before anything interesting happens, there's usually that moment of, who are you?
That's a good way to put it. It's like the handshake of conversation.
Exactly. And if that handshake feels awkward, people assume the whole interaction will be awkward, even if that's not true.
And confidence plays such a role. When you know what to say, even just a little, you show up differently.
You stand differently. You breathe differently. You're not panicking about your next sentence.
And that panic is real. I've talked to so many learners who say their mind just goes blank.
Or worse, their mind fills with everything at once. Too many options.
That's almost harder, because then you're editing yourself in real time.
Which is exhausting, and usually leads to saying less than you want to.
Or saying something that doesn't really represent you.
That's a big one. People walk away thinking, that's not who I am, but that's all I could say.
So part of why this matters is not just fluency, but identity.
Yes. Being able to show up as yourself, even in a simple way.
And another piece I think it's overlooked is how common these situations are.
All the time.
It's not just interviews or formal moments. It's everyday life.
A neighbor. A classmate. Someone next to you at a cafe who makes a comment and suddenly you're chatting.
And if you've ever avoided those moments because you're afraid of freezing,
that's a heavy cost.
So let's talk about context, because not every situation asks for the same version of you.
Thank you for saying that. This is where people get stuck thinking there's one correct introduction.
There isn't.
Not even close. The way you introduce yourself with friends is totally different from how you do it at work.
Let's break that down. Informal settings first. Friends, cafes, casual meetups.
These are the easiest emotionally, but sometimes the hardest linguistically, because they're so loose.
There's no script handed to you.
Exactly. Someone might just say, "Hey, I'm Sam," and suddenly it's your turn.
In those moments, short and relaxed works best.
And honest. You don't need your life story.
Just enough to keep the conversation moving.
Semi-formal is interesting, though. Meetups, colleagues, networking events.
There's a bit of structure there.
Yeah. People expect a little more clarity, maybe what you do, what you're interested in.
But still human, not stiff.
And then there's formal settings,
Interviews, official meetings,
where tone matters a lot.
and people often overcompensate by sounding robotic.
Or memorized, which doesn't feel good for anyone listening.
So let's zoom in on the very first moment, the greeting.
The smallest part, but it sets the tone.
It really does. Hello versus hey sends a signal.
And it's okay to choose intentionally. Formal settings, hello, good morning.
Semi-formal, hi there, nice to meet you.
Informal, hey, what's up? Maybe even just a smile and your name.
And I want to say something important here. Your accent, your rhythm, your personality, they matter more than perfection.
Yes. People respond to warmth, not flawless grammar.
After the greeting comes the part everyone dreads. Personal details.
This is where the brain freeze really kicks in.
Because tell me about yourself is too big.
So we make it smaller.
Let's start with name. Sounds obvious, but people still hesitate.
Especially if they're worried about pronunciation or repeating themselves.
Simple phrases help. I'm, or my name is.
No need to get fancy.
Then location, where you're from or where you live.
This is such a natural bridge because it invites questions.
I'm from Brazil, but I live in Chicago now.
Instantly, there's somewhere to go.
And if you want to keep it even simpler, just one piece is enough.
You don't owe anyone both.
Next is occupation or current role.
This is tricky emotionally, especially if someone feels unsure about their job or status.
Or if they're a student and think that's not impressive enough.
Which breaks my heart, honestly.
Same. I'm a student is a complete sentence.
Or I work in marketing. I work as a designer.
Or even, I'm between things right now. That's real.
And real is always better than trying to sound impressive.
What I notice is that when people have a few ready phrases, their confidence jumps.
Because they're not searching, they're choosing.
Exactly. And choice feels empowering.
It also reduces that fear of freezing.
Which brings us back to why this matters.
When your brain knows there's a path, it doesn't panic.
And once you get through those first few sentences, something shifts.
Your shoulders drop.
You start listening instead of surviving.
And that's when real conversation begins.
I want to pause here for a second because everything we've talked about so far is just the surface.
It is. And yet, for so many people, even this surface feels overwhelming.
So let me ask you this. When you think about the next layer, beyond the basics, where do you see people getting stuck most often?
Honestly, it's when they try to decide how much of themselves to share, and that's where things get interesting.
That hesitation about how much to share, that's such a real tension.
Yeah, because once you move past the basics, it's no longer just facts, it's choices.
And those choices feel risky.
Exactly. You're deciding what version of yourself to bring into the room.
I've noticed people often swing to one of two extremes.
Either they overshare because they're nervous,
Or they shut down and give one-word answers.
both come from the same place, I think. Uncertainty.
So let's talk about lifestyle. Because that's usually the next layer people reach for.
Lifestyle is interesting because it sounds big, but it's actually made of small, everyday things.
Where you live, who you live with, how your days feel.
And those details are incredibly human. They ground you.
Like saying, I live with my sister. Or, I have roommates. Or, it's just me and my dog.
Instantly, there's texture.
And none of that needs to be dramatic or impressive.
Most people are relieved when it's simple. It makes them feel safe to be simple, too.
Then there's daily routine. I love this one because it's so underrated.
Same. Talking about your weekdays sounds boring, but it's actually relatable.
I work during the day, and I usually cook dinner at home.
Or, my mornings are chaotic, but evenings are quiet.
That paints a picture.
And pictures stick more than labels.
Do you ever notice how people light up when they talk about their free time?
Oh, yeah. Hobbies are where energy shifts.
Even shy speakers suddenly become animated.
Because it's something they chose, not something assigned to them.
In my free time, I like is such a powerful phrase.
And it doesn't need to be unique. Watching movies counts. Walking counts.
Being a big fan of something gives people an entry point.
Sports, music, books, cooking, these are bridges.
And you can control the depth. You don't have to explain everything.
Just enough to invite curiosity.
I want to touch on something here, though. Some people feel pressure to sound interesting,
Yes. They think their hobbies aren't good enough.
which is such a strange standard when you think about it.
Interesting doesn't mean impressive. It means honest.
And shared. Often, the most boring hobby is the most common connection.
Exactly. Saying, I like hiking might feel basic, but someone else just thought, me too.
That's a win.
Now, when we move into personal identity, this is where it gets more delicate.
Because identity feels deeper than lifestyle.
And people worry about being misunderstood
Or judged.
or boxed in.
So, how do you approach that without making it heavy?
I think starting with adjectives helps. Simple ones.
Like, I'm pretty introverted, or I'm curious, or I'm friendly once I warm up.
Those phrases give context without demanding agreement.
They're soft claims.
Exactly. You're not saying, this is who I am forever. You're saying, this is how I tend to be.
Likes and dislikes fit here too.
Yes, but lightly. I love coffee, but I hate mornings.
That kind of contrast feels real.
And it invites a smile. Or a response.
I sometimes push back when people say, I don't have a personality in English.
Oh, same. You absolutely do.
It's just hiding because you're focused on survival.
Once the language pressure drops a bit, personality comes through naturally.
That's why prepared sentences matter not to sound scripted, but to free mental space.
So you can be present?
Let's talk about future goals, because this is where some people freeze again,
Dreams feel vulnerable.
especially if you're still figuring them out.
But future goals don't have to be grand.
I'm hoping to improve my English.
I want to travel more.
I'm thinking about changing careers.
All valid. All human.
And saying, I'm not sure yet is also an answer.
That honesty builds trust.
I want to address something you mentioned earlier about context, because it applies here too.
Yes, what you share depends on where you are and who you're with.
In informal settings, you might talk more about hobbies and daily life.
In semi-formal ones, maybe your work and interests.
Formal settings lean more toward experience and goals.
But even then, warmth matters.
This is where I sometimes disagree with people who think formal means emotionless.
I'm with you. Professional doesn't mean robotic.
You can be clear and still sound like a human.
In fact, people remember you more when you do.
Let's get practical for a moment. What do you think is the biggest mistake people make when introducing themselves?
Trying to say everything.
When really, clarity is success.
They think completeness equals success.
Another mistake I see is people apologizing for their English mid-introduction.
Saying less but saying it comfortably is far more powerful.
Sorry, my English is bad.
Oh, that one hurts.
And puts judgment into the room.
It immediately shifts focus away from who they are.
Your message matters more than your mistakes,
I wish more people knew they don't need to do that.
or at least more focused on themselves.
And most listeners are kinder than you think.
So, if someone's listening right now and thinking, okay, but how do I actually practice this?
Exactly. Everyone's a little self-conscious.
About name, location, work,
Start small. Write a few sentences.
one hobby.
Then add one lifestyle detail,
That's it,
one adjective,
especially alone.
and say it out loud, even alone.
It turns ideas into muscle memory.
Hearing your own voice matters,
I love that phrase.
and muscle memory reduces fear.
There's something else I want to explore, though. What happens emotionally after someone finally gets through an introduction without freezing?
Me too, because it's true.
Big relief.
Relief first,
And then something unexpected curiosity,
then pride, even if it's quiet.
which shifts the whole dynamic.
Yes, because once you're not panicking, you start wondering about the other person.
That's such a key shift.
Conversation becomes mutual instead of performative.
I think that's why this topic resonates so deeply.
And it only happens when you feel grounded in who you are, even a little.
And letting yourself be seen, piece by piece.
It's not about perfect English. It's about feeling seen.
I want to pause here again, because we've moved from structure into something more personal.
At your own pace.
And there's one more layer that connects all of this together, the way preparation and confidence feed into each other.
Yeah, we have.
Maybe that's where we go next.
That loop is powerful.
Let's sit with that for a moment.
I think so. Because once people understand that connection, everything changes.
That connection between preparation and confidence, it feels simple when you say it, but it's kind of everything.
It really is. Because people often think confidence comes first.
Like you're supposed to feel ready before you speak.
But for most of us, it works the other way around.
You prepare, you practice, and confidence slowly catches up.
Quietly. Almost without you noticing.
I've seen learners have this moment where they say, I didn't panic this time.
That's huge.
It doesn't mean they were perfect,
It means they stayed present.
and that's the real win.
I think what helps is reframing what success looks like in these moments.
Say more about that.
Success isn't impressing someone. It's getting through the moment, feeling like yourself.
Even if your sentences are simple,
Especially if they're simple.
there's a lot of power in choosing simple sentences.
Yes, simple doesn't mean shallow. It means clear.
I work in tech is clear,
I like cooking on weekends is clear.
and clarity builds trust with yourself and with others.
I want to talk about action steps because this is where things either change or stay theoretical.
Agreed. Insight without action fades fast.
So let's start with writing it down.
Old school, but effective.
When you write your introduction, you see your thoughts slow down.
You notice patterns, gaps,
You can choose words instead of grabbing the first ones that come to mind.
and you can edit without pressure.
Exactly. No one's watching.
Then comes speaking out loud,
This part scares people more than they expect.
because your voice makes it real.
But it's essential. Language lives in sound, not just text.
Even reading your sentences aloud once a day makes a difference.
It builds familiarity. Your mouth learns the shapes.
And when the moment comes, your body remembers.
That's when brain freeze starts to lose its power.
I want to address something important here. Some people worry that preparing sentences will make them sound fake.
I hear that all the time.
What do you usually say to that?
I say this. Preparation isn't pretending, it's supporting yourself.
That's good.
You're not memorizing a lie. You're organizing the truth.
And you're allowed to do that.
Absolutely. Native speakers do it all the time, they just don't call it practice.
They have familiar stories, familiar phrases.
We all do. Language learners are just more aware of it.
Another action step I think matters is adjusting expectations based on setting.
Yes. Don't expect an informal introduction to sound like an interview.
Or vice versa.
When people mix those tones, they feel awkward even if their English is fine.
That's such a good point. Tone mismatch creates discomfort.
But once you know the setting, you can choose appropriately.
Formal, clear, respectful, focused.
Semi-formal. Friendly, informative, relaxed.
Informal, warm, short, flexible.
And if you're unsure, neutral is always safe.
Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
You can never go wrong with that.
Let's talk about mistakes for a moment.
Ah, the elephant in the room.
People are terrified of them.
And yet, mistakes are often what make you memorable in a good way.
Because they humanize you.
And most of the time, people don't even notice the ones you're worried about.
Or they forget them immediately.
What they remember is how you made them feel.
Calm, friendly, engaged.
Or tense and apologetic.
Which is why I always encourage people to stop apologizing mid-sentence.
Yes, finish the thought.
Let the meaning land.
Confidence isn't about flawless grammar. It's about staying in the conversation.
I think that's a mindset shift worth sitting with.
Staying, even when it's uncomfortable.
Especially then.
That's where growth happens.
Do you remember your own experience with this? Introducing yourself in another language.
Very clearly. I used to rehearse one paragraph endlessly.
Did it help?
It helped me survive, but it didn't help me connect.
What changed?
I shortened it. I gave myself permission to say less.
That's such a recurring theme.
Once I stopped trying to cover everything, I relaxed.
And when you relax, you listen better.
Which makes the conversation feel balanced.
That balance is what people want.
Not a performance. A presence.
I want to zoom out for a second. When someone learns how to talk about themselves comfortably, what does that unlock long-term?
Opportunities.
In what way?
Jobs, friendships, collaborations, but also internal opportunities.
Explain that.
You start seeing yourself as someone who can show up.
That's powerful.
It changes how you approach new spaces. You're less invisible to yourself.
That might be the most important takeaway of all.
And it's why this skill is worth practicing, even when it feels small.
Because it's not small.
It's foundational.
Before opinions, before storytelling, before debate, you need this.
A way in.
I want to imagine someone listening right now. Maybe on a commute. Maybe late at night.
They're probably nodding. And also feeling nervous.
If you could say one thing directly to them, what would it be?
I'd say, you don't need to become someone else in English.
You just need to bring yourself one sentence at a time.
Slowly, imperfectly, honestly.
I'd add this. Every time you try, even quietly, you're building something.
And that something stays with you.
It doesn't disappear after one conversation.
It accumulates.
And one day, you'll answer that question, tell me about yourself, and it won't feel heavy.
It'll feel normal.
Maybe even easy.
And when that happens, you might not even notice at first.
You'll just keep talking.
And that's the goal.
Not perfection. Continuity.
Connection.
I think that's a good place to land.
Yeah, calm, grounded.
Thanks for sitting with this conversation with me.
Always. And thanks to everyone listening for being here.
Take care of yourselves and be kind to your own voice.
It deserves that.